Boys, girls, babes, welcome back to the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us here today for this episode 113 of this show. It is hard to believe that we have done that many episodes already, but yeah, time does fly when you are having fun, and we have certainly been having a blast here talking Washington Capitals hockey with you all. So thank you all to all of our wonderful listeners out there, whether you were listening in audio only, whether that's on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or wherever it may be, or whether you were joining us for the video version of the podcast over on YouTube. Thank you all so much for tuning in wherever you were tuning in from. We really, really, really do appreciate it. This show does not happen without all of our lovely listeners, lovely supporters out there across all corners of the globe tuning in and then sharing the show with their fellow Caps fans, spreading the word. And yeah, if you are a new listener here, please feel free to click on that subscribe button if you like what you hear. It's the more the merrier here, right? We are always happy to welcome new listeners into the conversation here, and quite a conversation that it is going to be today, as we have got a lot to get to here. And I would like to, for this episode, welcome back Sunny to the show, becoming somewhat of a regular guest here, I would say. You've been on several episodes here now. The people love you, so we keep bringing you back. And yeah, I noticed that your name for this Zoom call here, you have entered your name as Justin Sourdif Backtracker. Can you please explain to us, Sunny, what that means exactly?
Okay, so hi everybody. It's good to be back on this podcast again. And like always, I always enjoy talking about the Caps with you. And it's just nice to have, community of Caps fans being able to just talk Caps. So about Justin sort of. So at the beginning of the year, I was just like, we didn't know anything about Justin sort of. And to be fair, my bad for second guessing the Capitals management, because they do a stunning job, as we talked about in the last podcast, about how they do such a good job of, getting prospects and, doing all these sick trades that like nobody even thought of doing, like Chychrun. Like that's just one example. Chychrun, TJ Oshie, like, there's so many I can like whatever name on my finger, but anyways, to the point of Justin Sourdif. Beginning of the year, I was just like, who is this? Like, because I guess like you were saying in conversation when we were watching a couple of games in the beginning of the year, you're like, well, I mean, it's a new guy. He's probably getting used to the systems, and also they're playing him in a different, I guess, ways that he doesn't normally play. So he's not really comfortable yet in what he's been expected to do. And I'm like, that's nice, but we need to win games. So can you just like not turn the puck over every 5 seconds? Anyways, I was a not hater, but I was questioning the decisions of management early on in the season. And I take it back. Clearly, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Because God help me. A hat trick last game by Justin fucking Sourdif. That's all I gotta say. Just on me.
Justin fucking Sourdif. That is absolutely right. I would say that yeah, you were after like the instant gratification, right? You wanted him to come in and be great right away, and you were not waiting around for it before forming an opinion. That's bad on you. But yeah, I was actually on Twitter the other day, as a lot of Caps fans are. It's kind of funny actually, but a lot of Caps fans right now are. I'm sure everybody knows the blog, the Capitals blog, Russian Machine Never Breaks. So a lot of people on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, are going at a certain member of that site right now for, I guess, his early season opinions of Justin Sourdif, not even early season opinions, because he was still having these opinions like 5 or 6 games ago. And he had posted a tweet essentially shitting on Justin Sourdif. Let's be honest, that's what he was doing, trying to make him look bad with the tweet that he sent out. And a lot of Capitals fans now are coming back at him throwing it in his face, as all Justin Sourdif has done since then is, put up crazy point totals, scores a hat trick last game. The game before that, he absolutely rocked somebody who is like 2 feet taller than him, and then proceeded to rock another guy in a fight. Again, a guy that was much bigger than him. So he's just doing absolutely everything right now. And it was just really funny the timing that, like, since that tweet was sent out by, I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to do that, but by the guy from Russian Machine Never Breaks, one of the guys from Russian Machine Never Breaks. Since he sent out that tweet, Justin Sourdif has just been on an absolute. It's almost as if Justin Sourdif saw the tweet and was like, "All right, you know what? Hold my beer, motherfucker. I'm coming." Because since then, he's just been on an absolute tear. So it's pretty funny to see all Capitals fans online rallying around this guy, around Justin Sourdif. And I had sent out a tweet the other day as well, just saying, like, hey, you know what, guys? If you want Capitals content and a podcast where we will absolutely own it when we make a mistake or when we form a stupid opinion way too fast early on in the season. If you want an honest show where we will own our shit and eat a shit sandwich after we have a bad take for everyone to see, this is the place to be. And that is what you were doing. So welcome back to the show, Justin Sourdif Backtracker. I am glad that you were able to own that opinion that you had early on in the season. To be honest, though, like, I wasn't overly impressed with Justin Sourdif early on in the season. I was just different than you in the sense that I think I was a little bit more patient. And like you said, I was kind of the one telling you, just give him a minute. Like, it's a brand new, not only brand new team, brand new organization, brand new systems, brand new line mates, brand new teammates as a whole, brand new everything, brand new coaching staff, brand new city, brand new apartment that he's probably living in, like literally brand new everything.
Everything.
Yeah, so let's just give him a minute here and see how it goes. But yeah, I always appreciate someone who can own it when, they had a bad take. And let's be real, it was a bad take.
It was and not just last game based on, but several games now. I was like, who is this Justin Sourdif? Where did he come out of? No wonder the Panthers had him. Clearly, they saw something that I didn't, and so did Caps.
Yeah, you think the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions might know a thing or two about winning hockey? Yeah, it's turning out to be a phenomenal trade for the Capitals. I think everyone, and kind of rightfully so, was a little bit skeptical about the team giving up a second-round pick plus for him, not knowing very much about him, but clearly the Capitals organization, their scouting staff, like you said, they do such a great job. Someone else had a tweet the other day that was essentially like listing out the the gains made by the Washington Capitals due to their scouting department over the last couple of years, like both at the pro level and at the amateur level, and just the trades that they've been able to make. Jakob Chychrun, like you said, Logan Thompson for 2 third-round picks. There's another one. That's another big one. Rasmus Sandin, big part of the back end
Oh
now.
yeah,
Like,
Rasmus.
yeah, there was so many, and they went through all of those, and then they went through their amateur scouting department, what they've been able to accomplish, with, not just obviously getting a guy like Ryan Leonard early on in the first round, but where the Capitals have really made hay in the draft has been the later rounds, right? The second round and beyond. Obviously, Cole Hudson, second round pick. Andrew Crystal, second round pick. Aliaksei Protas, third round pick. His younger brother, Ilya Protas, third round pick. So, like, they've really made hay in the later rounds of the draft outside of the first round, which is something that has allowed them to continue to be a very strong team and not really fall off too much, even after winning a Stanley Cup and having a lot of success. And, during that era, they won the division almost every single year. They won 3 President's Trophies. They had a ton of success, ultimately culminating in winning the Stanley Cup. And they haven't had a very large drop off or a very long period of time in which they weren't good after that. It was really only like one season, like the last season of Peter Laviolette, where they didn't make the playoffs. So just
Thank God that's over.
yeah, just a one season miss, and now they're right back at it, and they're a playoff team again, right? So, yeah, it's really been impressive what they've been able to do, and a lot of that has been because of the success that they've had drafting in the later rounds. That's really differentiated them from a lot of these teams that win the Stanley Cup and then kind of go in the toilet in the years after that, because you're not getting those high first round picks when you're finishing high in the standings, right? So that's why the NHL goes through cycles. A lot of times it is very difficult to be a top team for a long period of time because you don't get the high draft picks at the beginning of the first round. But the Caps have done such a great job making great picks in the later rounds that that's why they are where they are now. And yeah, I mean, just it's we're kind of getting off topic here. I wanted to talk first about the game against the Anaheim Ducks a little bit because that one just happened, and we don't normally talk too much about like individual games on the podcast here because I do the post game reaction videos over on the YouTube channel. So I did do the post game reaction video for this game against the Anaheim Ducks, but I just wanted to touch on it a little bit here because Sonny, just tell me like this kid line that Spencer Carberry put together for this game, a game in which, to be honest, everyone, including yourself and including me, everyone was kind of wondering like how are the Caps going to be able to get 2 points here tonight with the guys that they had out of the lineup. And the Ducks are like the Ducks have been a pretty good team this season, much better than they were last season. And the answer, it turns out, was Spencer Carberry putting together a line that I said during the post game reaction video. You add up the combined ages of all of these three players, and their combined age, all three of them together, would barely be old enough to be allowed to collect a pension. So that's crazy. Combined age of 67 between the three of them. So obviously Justin Sourdif, 23 years old at center ice. Connor McMichael on the left wing, 24 years old. And then Ryan Leonard, the youngster on that line, 20 years old on the right wing. So Sonny, just tell us, what did you see just quickly in this game? We won't go too much into the game because, like I said, I do the post game reaction videos and have done that already. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on this kid line. What did you see from them? How much fun was it to watch these guys work together in this game against the Ducks?
Yeah, so it was nice for a change to actually have a young line like that because I know earlier in the season, like they were having troubles trying to amalgamate like Leonard with certain people. And so I think having this line, like they're all three of them are really fast, but like you have Justin Sourdif and McMichael and Leonard, who I have no idea how, but like all three of them passed like it's like they've been passing since they were babies. Like, you know what I mean? Just the passing between the three of them,
It's like
that's
they came.
amazing because
It's like they
struggling for
came. Sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say it's like the three of them came out of the womb together. That's how they're passing. Anyways,
it's like they've been
continue.
playing together for years, is what it looked like. And they were fast and not just fast and passing, but they were creative with their passes, like stuff that you don't typically see, which is refreshing because usually you have like a line that dumps and chases or, goes off the rush and just, side to side, east and west passing. But like this was like different where it was like you're going in, but like it's almost like, he's like, it's just like almost like just really silky and it was unpredictable line is what I can call it. Like you wouldn't know what they're going to do because you have no idea what they were going to do. Like these moves that I was seeing, I saw Justin Sourdif and I'm like, huh? I'm like, I didn't know you could do that. And then I'm like, I know Leonard could do that, but I didn't know you could do that. And I know McMichael can do that, but now all three of you can do that. I'm just like, that's crazy. And not just a passing then. It was a scoring too. I'm just like the goals were just so like creative. Like it wasn't like I know like back in the day, like 10 years ago when I started watching the Caps, we had that like capability of to be able to have just really, really like easy plays that would just go in the back of the net. And it was refreshing to have that again, to be able to see that just happen like that. And boom, 4 goals, second period. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, I can get used to this. So it was refreshing in that, and what I can say is that that line was unpredictable, and I think that also gave it an advantage because people weren't expecting that line. First of all, the Ducks were not expecting that because we never used that line before, if I remember correctly. So that was that. But at the same time, where was this line before? Like, how did we not think about this line? Like there, and also like if you throw in Milano, I'm like, you know, Milano should be playing more minutes, is in my opinion. So if you throw in Milano, into the mix with another two, players like Leonard and McMichael, like we should be using those players more often. But yeah, like I said, McMichael, Leonard, and Sourdif is a line that I should think that would stay, even with Dubois and Wilson and Protas coming back. I think you talked about it. Like those are two lines that are set, and then you have Ovi, Bovey, and Strom, and then the third line is whichever whoever's out. I mean, in my opinion, I think maybe I don't know how you feel about this, but like I think you mentioned it as well, but like maybe mixing up Dowd some, maybe you know what I mean, like mixing somebody else in place of Dowd some plays, like for some games, like. But anyways, I'm just saying we got three lines. It's just a fourth line we can kind of play with now. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
they've kind of shuffled Nick Dowd like up and down the lineup a little bit with these injuries. I would like to see like when everybody's healthy because I think you're right. Like Spencer Carberry, even when everyone is healthy here, he better keep this line in mind as like a very good option for a third line, right? Because like the third line was a point of weakness for the Caps pretty much all of last season. And just watching this line play last night, like because when everyone's healthy, like that Strome centering Ovechkin and Beauvillier, that is a very good line. That Pierre-Luc Dubois centering the two big wingers in Tom Wilson on the right side and Aliaksei Protas on the left side. That is a very good line. That has been a very good line for the Caps all of last season and briefly this season before Pierre-Luc Dubois went down. He's missed almost the entire season, but we know that that is a very good line as well. So yeah, I would like to see even once everyone's healthy, them give this new kid line that they just put together a little bit of runway to see what they can do over the long term because they were absolutely fucking flying in this game against the Ducks. I get that there might be a little bit of hesitancy on Spencer Carberry's part because maybe some defensive shortcomings from a lot of young players. There's no kind of like more reliable veteran on that line, so I get that he might have some hesitancy because of that. But I mean, you got to score goals to win games in the National Hockey League, right? And they proved in this game against the Ducks that they can do that quite easily. And like you said, it's creativity, right? Like they were so much fun to watch out there. You could not predict where they were going with the puck or what they were going to do, which I think is so much fun offensively. And again, probably a little scary for Spencer Carberry defensively. So again, maybe that's why he has a little bit of hesitancy. Maybe that's why we hadn't seen it before. But yeah, even when everyone is healthy, I would like to see him stick with this a little bit, give it a little bit of runway, because I think that you could quite easily run like those could be your top nine, right? Your top three lines: Strome centering Ovechkin and Beauvillier, Pierre-Luc Dubois centering Wilson and Protas, and then Justin Sourdif all of a sudden come out of absolutely nowhere and centering Connor McMichael and Ryan Leonard. So yeah, Justin Sourdif specifically, I mean, he's the key to all of this, right? Because they've got him playing in the middle of the ice now. And that was like a massive point of weakness for the Caps last season was that third line center position. So yeah, I mean, Justin Sourdif, like we talked about him last episode as well, I know. But it's pretty hard to not talk about the guy right now, to be honest, with what he's doing out there on the ice. He's a big talking point right now because he is a big part of what is going on with the Washington Capitals right now. And yeah, I mean
I was
it's
gonna say, like you mentioned, Spencer Carberry being scared about defense, but Justin sort of plays pretty good defensively too. Like his back check is on point. Like he had the best back check in the last, I don't know, 3, 4 games compared to anybody on that team. Even more than the actual like I love Chychrun, I love Roy, I love Sandin, but like even them, they were making mistakes last game, and Justin Sorto's game was just on point defensively as well, not just offensively. So
I believe I said that to you during the game. I said this 23-year-old kid is the player that I trust the most on the ice right now defensively. He is so good, Sonny. He's so good. So yeah, I think that's a good point too. Like all three of them might be young, but I think that you definitely can trust Justin Sourdif at least in the middle of the ice. And I think Spencer Carberry does. I think the hesitancy would be more so with the two young wingers on the same line. But I think like Justin Sourdif, he's become all of a sudden out of nowhere so reliable defensively that I think that you can run that line out there and you can be okay. He covers up so many mistakes defensively. It's actually insane.
Hmm.
I've never seen a young player at this age with like what does he have now? Maybe 43 games played total in the National Hockey League. It's not very many. Um, I've never seen a player of this age and with that little experience in the National Hockey League come in and look like this quickly defensively. Like we've seen players come in and succeed offensively. I have never seen a young player do what he is doing defensively at this age and with so little experience. He's literally like a wily veteran out there defensively. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Yeah, can you tell that we're big Justin Sourdif guys here now? it's but it's pretty funny honestly because like we're talking about the third line center, right? So I want to stay on this for a second, because it is pretty funny because like over this most recent off season, everyone was like, how can you not go out and get a third line center? You need a third line center. It's the biggest point of weakness on this team. It's the most glaring need of the team. You need to get one. You need to get one. You need to get one. Like everyone was all over it, and people were freaking out when it didn't happen. And people were like legitimately pissed off that they weren't, going out and giving up whatever it took to get a third line center. And now, lo and behold, it turns out that they didn't give up those bigger assets because they were just going to turn 23-year-old Justin Sourdif with almost no career NHL games played at the time that they traded for him, that they were going to turn him into a reliable shutdown center. Not only a reliable shutdown center, but honestly, he has been a dominant shutdown center to this point, and one who can contribute some offense as well. So apparently, like you said, none of us knew what we were talking about. They were just going to take this kid, pluck him out of absolutely nowhere, and turn him into a very reliable and, like I said, quite honestly, a dominant shutdown center. And now, yeah, contributing offense as well. And so they look now like absolute geniuses, right? As this kid is absolutely flourishing. So, I mean, I don't know. It's at the end of the day, like assuming that they make the playoffs, um, with Pierre-Luc Dubois having been out injured for most of the season, um, it sounds weird to say this, but like Pierre-Luc Dubois getting injured might end up being the best thing that could have happened to the Caps when it did. Because
Agreed.
yeah, and the reason I know that sounds crazy to say that, so let me explain myself. But like the reason why I'm saying that is because it forced the Caps to try Justin Sourdif at center. And because you remember, he started the season as the fourth line right wing, right? And that's kind of when you and everyone else was kind of shitting on him and, what is this guy doing here? Why did we trade a second round pick for him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they were kind of easing him in. He started the year at fourth line right wing. So Pierre-Luc Dubois getting injured, it has forced the Washington Capitals to try Justin Sourdif at center. And as a result, now, like I said, they have found themselves another very reliable center iceman, seemingly out of thin air, right? And he has proven that he can play up in the lineup as the second line center if needed. And when Pierre-Luc Dubois comes back, like I said, running a top three centers of Dylan Strome, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and now Justin Sourdif, and with Nick Dowd in the four hole as well, like that is very enviable center depth, that a lot of teams in this league would kill to have, frankly. And in Justin Sourdif, you have essentially found yourself a top nine center for under $900,000 per season, which is absolutely insane. I know I told you I looked this up the other day because I couldn't remember if they had signed him for just the 1 year or if it was a 2 year contract, and I was like, please let it be two, please let it be two. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was what I thought. It was a 2 year contract. So this is still only year one of two for Justin Sourdif, with the Washington Capitals at that, like I said, under $900,000 cap hit. He's close to like league minimum, and he's playing like this. So absolute bargain at this point for the Washington Capitals. And yeah, I mean, Sonny, if there's anything that you want to add just in terms of like How do you see that? Like, do you think I'm crazy in saying that like Pierre-Luc Dubois getting injured might end up being a good thing for the Caps because we know that he is going to come back before the end of the regular season, so he is going to be back in the lineup. He's going to be available, assuming that they make it to the playoffs. And again, I'm not saying that we don't miss Pierre-Luc Dubois. Of course, we miss Pierre-Luc Dubois. We're kind of going back and forth right now between a top three spot in the Metropolitan Division, back to a wild card, back to a top three spot, back to a wild card. Last season with Pierre-Luc Dubois in the lineup, obviously they were the number one team in the Eastern Conference. So of course they miss him. He is a very, very, very good player and a very, very, very good shutdown center who adds a lot of offense as well. But do you at least see where I'm coming from when I'm saying that? Like, do you see the angle that I'm taking with that it could end up actually being a positive down the road for them, like heading into the playoffs, assuming, like I said, that they make the playoffs and assuming that Pierre-Luc Dubois is able to come back healthy at the end of the day?
Well, for like in terms of Justin Sourdif, like I think sometimes teams get too complacent with who they have and they just don't have any more ideas. So being forced to not have the players that you usually have forces you to get creative. And I think that did play a role because we were kind of struggling. Like we were scoring goals at the beginning of the season, like not the first couple of games, but like I know midway before Pierre got, I don't know how many goals that we scored while he was on the team before he got injured. But in terms of the scoring, like we didn't have a problem scoring goals even when we had our our couple of games that we won consistently and scoring so many goals. Like we didn't have a problem scoring. So I feel like when you're kind of in a spot where you do lose your some of your players due to injury, like I said, it forces you to become creative and use guys that you normally wouldn't. And Justin sort of just happened to, be there at time. And I think, and essentially, if you got the guy, you have to develop him in some way. So it's either you develop him later or you develop him now. And I guess now it just worked out well. And at the same time, like how I feel like if Pierre didn't get injured, then I feel like we wouldn't be able to then have that extra guy like Justin to throw in a lineup and be able to get more offense, right? Like now we know we do, but can you imagine if Pierre wasn't? Not that I'm saying that I wish. I'm glad that he got injured. I'm just saying that if he hadn't gotten injured, we wouldn't even know the capability of what we got from the Panthers trade. We would just be speculating, oh, well, we have this Justin sort of guy, but we don't know what he's capable of because we haven't played him in many minutes of the game. So, like, is he really useful? Like, he could have been like, only for 1 year, for the 2 years or whatever, and never developed. So, like last year, for example, like Leonard came into the team, and he just gone to the team before the playoffs, and he didn't have enough time to become developed in the NHL. He's still developing. He just his essentially first year in the
Oh
NHL.
boy, is he
But
developing.
I'm saying like, it's hard to say, hey, well, that guy didn't really have a good first coming to the NHL because he came right into the playoffs. So you can't really say that
Yep.
his play wasn't that great because he didn't get a chance to kind of, so I feel like same with the Justin sort of thing where you know, we didn't know his capability till he was put on the ice. And, we were speculating because of his performance, but at the same time, he's young, he's developing. And I think it came to the right time to be able to use him and have him. And now he's a key puzzle to our line problems. And we wouldn't have been able to solve that if Pierre didn't get injured. So, I mean, it's a plus plus, and it's plus that Pierre is skating again. Having him back would definitely like we need lines, right? Like we were just like I remember there was a couple of games where we're just like I remember even saying like, what are these lines? Like it was just like every game you'd watch, it's like somebody's playing with somebody different every night. There's no consistency, and that affects the players. So, I mean, having an actual guy that you can trust, like Justin sort of now, kind of puts some consistency in a line. So like you were saying, line like the third line. So there's more consistency in the third line. We have the first line that's consistent, we have a second line that's consistent, and now we just got the fourth line that we kind of already do have, but we can still play around with it. But now we got four lines, like it's set in stone in a way, and it's not really set in stone in a way, but you got options, and having options is better than no options. So yeah, it's kind of my take on it. So
Yeah, and like I laid out what I would try as the top nine. And to go along with that, I think a fourth line of Nick Dowd centering Brandon Duhaime on the left and Ethan Frank on the right, that's a really, really, really good fourth line.
Ethan
So
Frank is another one. He's just had a phenomenal
yeah.
bunch of games this year. I'm just like he came like he was playing pretty good last year, but this year I think he's really really come into his game. Like you can see it, like having he's also fast. Like you know, what I mean, we've got so many fast players. Like I don't understand the concept of what everyone's saying. Caps are a slow team. Like I don't see that we're slow. Like I'm sorry, like we got guys that are like pretty fast in the game, like Ethan Frank, Leonard, McMichael, Sourdif,
Well, it's like
Beauvillier.
it's like
Beauvillier's fast too,
it's
so
it's outdated when people say that. Like people who say that
Chychrun's fast.
people who say that are just parroting what they hear the mainstream media say, and the mainstream media is saying it based on literally like based on the last year of Peter Laviolette, where we were very
Yeah.
slow. They're not
Tom
a slow.
Wilson,
They're not a. Tom Wilson can fucking fly
I
too.
know.
They're not
Protas
a.
can skate. Have you seen Protas last year
Yeah,
before his injury? He
they're
was
not.
skating.
They are not a yeah, Chychrun's like fucking Bobby Orr on the back end. Like they're not a slow team anymore. It's outdated. It's not factual. I don't know why people are still
It's
saying
because
it.
they don't watch our games.
If you yeah, not only that, not only the eyeball test, but literally if you look at the stats, the skating stats, they're not a slow team. So I don't know where that comes from. Just people like I said, parroting what they hear the mainstream media say. Everybody likes to pretend all the time in the mainstream media that the Caps are this or that. And none of it is like it's rarely based on fact, right? A lot of the people in the mainstream media are Sidney Crosby and Pittsburgh Penguins lovers. That's probably a big part of it. But yeah, it's just like it's not based in fact at all. So I did want to do some quick injury updates here. Because we have got some news on that front. So really good news as far as the Washington Capitals are concerned on a lot of these guys. Of course, it's not good news that they are injured, period. But given the circumstances, given how we saw them go down, I think the result here is a pretty good one. Like it's about as positive of an update as you could hope for on both Tom Wilson and on Aliaksei Protas as well. Pierre-Luc Dubois, by the way, has started skating again after his it was abdominal and abductor surgery. So his timeline, like we've said before, that was given by the Washington Capitals organization was 3 to 4 months. So he's on track for that for sure. He's already resumed skating, so that's great to see. He was out there again this morning, even the Caps having an off day. But Pierre-Luc Dubois was out there, and Tom Wilson and Aliaksei Protas were skating this morning again as well. So great to see that. We do know that the team has officially termed Tom Wilson as day to day. And like I said, that's a very positive update based on how we saw him going off the ice, right? It looked really, really bad. We have not been back on the podcast here yet since that happened. My God, like my reaction was not a good one. Not only because we're Washington Capitals fans, but also because we're Canadian and we're Team Canada fans. And yeah, I was pretty worried about this one, I would say. Just the way that he went off the ice, it did not look good at all. It looked like he couldn't put any weight at all on his leg or on his foot there. Needed help getting off the ice, help getting down the tunnel. So yeah, it didn't look good at all. So all things considered, I think day to day is a really, really, really positive update if you are a Washington Capitals fan or if you are a Team Canada fan. So yeah, he should be back hopefully sooner rather than later. And then Aliaksei Protas as well, also termed day to day. They actually had him listed as a game time decision rather, for the game against the Anaheim Ducks. He ended up not being able to go that night, but yeah, it shouldn't hopefully be too long for him either. So yeah, day to day for both Tom Wilson and Aliaksei Protas, and then Pierre-Luc Dubois still on track for his 3 to 4 month recovery timeline. Spencer Carberry did say for PL Dubois, don't expect to see him back before the Olympic break. It would be sometime after that. But again, that's right on track and right in line with what they had said originally of the 3 to 4 month timeline. Speaking of Tom Wilson, And one other here, Logan Thompson. Quickly here, we haven't been back on the podcast since these two were officially named to Team Canada. We had done a podcast episode previously where we were banging the drum for them, for Team Canada to pick them and put them on the team. Obviously, the Team Canada selection committee clearly listens to our podcast. Um, but yeah, no, I think it was obvious that you needed to pick these two guys, Tom Wilson and Logan Thompson. I don't think that there was any question that they should have been on this team. I'm so happy for both of them. Tom Wilson, specifically, like we've been watching him for so long here. He's been a member of the Washington Capitals since he was 18 years old. He started out as a fourth line, fighter essentially, just playing in that kind of specialty limited role, playing like 5 minutes a night. He's worked his way all the way up through the lineup to the top line at times, playing 20 plus minutes a night. He plays the most minutes of any forward on the Washington Capitals on many nights. So trusted in all situations, so reliable, so dependable in all situations, offensively, defensively, power play now, penalty kill. Like he's one of the best penalty killers as well, all situations, like I said, and just a phenomenal leader on and off the ice. And he has worked so, so, so hard to get here. It wasn't something where he was coming up and he was a young kid and he was like the most talented guy in the world, right? He had to
Mhm.
really, really, really work on his game. And he worked on all these different things. I remember Barry Trotz actually talked about it once, how with Tom Wilson, they could see his potential of what he could be because he did have a lot of like raw offensive skill for a player of his size and a player that is like as scary as he is. So they could see that he had that offensive skill, raw talent, right? It just needed to be worked on and kind of cultivated. And so Barry Trotz had talked previously about how with Tom Wilson, they would kind of give him one thing to work on every offseason, like one specific thing. Like this year, we want to use you on the penalty kill. So we're going to work on your penalty killing. This year, we want you to add more goals to the ledger offensively, right? Like they would give him one thing to work on every offseason. And the result has been with his work ethic that he has just knocked it out of the park on every single thing that they have asked him to do every single offseason. He has added more and more and more to his repertoire every single season. And he's just become an all around absolute beast at all ends of the ice, all three zones, offensively, defensively, both special teams. Just a phenomenal hockey player. So happy for him. So happy that he's going to be on Team Canada, given that we cheer for Team Canada. And then Logan Thompson as well. So happy for this guy. Undrafted. It's absolutely unheard of, honestly. Like for a goaltender to be as successful as he is being right now. He's definitely like one of the front runners for the Vezina Trophy this season, just as he was last season in his first season as a member of the Washington Capitals. He's got some of the best stats in the entire National Hockey League this season, yet again, just as he did last season, just as he did last Stanley Cup playoffs. He's been nothing but consistent ever since he's been a member of the Washington Capitals. And yeah, undrafted guy, it's almost unheard of for this type of story for a goaltender. Not only the success that he's having in the National Hockey League now, but being picked for Team Canada and probably should be the number one goaltender on Team Canada, although we don't know if he will be because there appears to be quite a bit of bias towards Jordan Binnington, which fair enough. I mean, he did win the Four Nations game, the final game of the Four Nations against the United States. So Canada won the Four Nations with him in net. So fair enough. You give him. You give Jordan Binnington the first start, see how it goes. But I feel much, much better as a Canadian if Jordan Binnington is in net, like if he is indeed the starter, I feel much, much better knowing that Logan Thompson is behind him and they're waiting in case Jordan Binnington falters. So, yeah, so happy for Logan Thompson as well. Undrafted guy, unbelievable story. Both he and Tom Wilson have worked so hard to get to where they are. So, Sonny, why don't you just quickly touch on? I don't want to keep us here all night, but just quickly touch on, your feelings as a Canadian, seeing these two guys having their names called, getting picked to play for our country here.
Well, first off, it feels really good in terms of getting justice for everyone that ever called Tom Wilson a goon. I guess you want to put your fist in your mouth now. That's all I have to say to you.
Shout out Uncle Brad. Shout out Uncle Brad. Lots of my listeners know Uncle Brad. Lots of them know Uncle Brad. My favorite uncle, Uncle Brad, the Boston Bruins fan, noted Tom Wilson hater. Even he has admitted though that he's going to be like grabbing his pom poms and go Tom Wilson during the Olympics. So just as you would expect. But yeah, anyway, continue.
Yeah, so I mean, like you were saying, like he came onto the scene and he got a rap for, being a goon, but like I mean, young player being developed, like, being able to I think it was a good for us, like not just for us, but for his game. Like I think it was really beneficial to have that sort of reputation first because then no one really messes with you when you're actually being developed into an actual player. Now, no one people try. I mean, just last game you saw. No, sorry, no, it wasn't the last game, but the game before he got injured. I can't remember who we were playing, but guys try to fight him, and he's like, yeah, just laughs them off. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not tainted by anybody because he's got his own confidence, and he knows that he's not a goon. He knows that he's a well-rounded player, and he doesn't need anybody else to tell him that. And it's the confidence, and I feel like everybody on any other team would kill for a Tom Wilson. I always hear, Leaf players always begging for a Tom Wilson, like for asking him because he's originally from Toronto. But I'm just like, it's just funny because now, like I said, everybody eating their words about Tom Wilson being a goon because I'm like, well, I guess you're wrong about him because he's not a goon. But in terms of like the play itself, I feel really just happy to have somebody stick up, I guess, like you say, for Canada. Like we had, like, when I think of like somebody like when we watched the Four Nations, for example, like we already knew there was going to be a fight, come off the first couple of seconds of that game. But, for Canadians, like I did not even picture Brandon Hagel being a fighter. I mean, that was pretty interesting to see, but like just like having Tom Wilson's, it was just a presence. Like no one's gonna fuck with anybody on our team because you know that Tom Wilson's there. Like nobody fucks with the Capitals when we're playing teams because Tom Wilson's on the ice. When Tom Wilson gets injured or Tom Wilson's not on the ice because he's on the bench, that's when people like to fuck with us. But the minute Tom Wilson's there, he's going to come around and show you Tom Wilson's here and remind you. So I feel like just his presence changes the whole chapter on how these Olympics are going to go, especially with the States, because I feel like they had their way, but they didn't technically have their way anyways with us. But I feel like the Chuck brothers are going to have something else to say because they are shitless scared of Tom Wilson. And it's going to be so funny because they're going to seem like they're, tough on the cameras and then come on the ice. We're just going to see them, hiding away, not
Don't
trying to
don't
like do
don't
anything.
don't make eye contact, Brady. Don't make eye contact. Yeah, just like when they played against the Ottawa Senators,
Yeah.
he'll try to get a shot in there and then he's hiding behind the linesman there. Yeah, running
Yeah.
away like a
So I think
scared little boy.
it's the presence that I feel like makes a big difference of Tom Wilson and Logan Thompson as well. Like he does not get like I can't believe first of all that Vegas got rid of him. I mean, Vegas is known for getting rid of players and just like whatever, but like other teams that needed a goalie. Like what the hell were the Oilers doing? What other teams were doing not getting Logan Thompson? Like you missed that trade. Like you fucked up because you could have won a Stanley Cup if you got Logan Thompson.
Could
Just
have
saying.
uh could have had Logan Thompson and now you have Tristan fucking Jari.
Jari.
Good job. Great
Holy.
work. Great work. Great
And he's
work.
injured now. So now what do you got? Pickard and Ingram? Like,
He play,
oh
he
my.
play he played like 4 games and he's already injured. Yeah.
Anyways, back to Thompson. I feel so like it's so like I feel for the player too, because like he didn't even get a chance to play for Vegas. Like he was a backup too, right? So he wasn't even like given the chance to play to show the team what he was capable of. And now it feels so good and rectifying like his like just like I said, his ability to be like a starting goalie. Like, he was never given that chance. He's a starting goalie on our team now. He's well trusted. And he's a now goalie on the, Team Canada. It's not easy to get to be elected to play for Team Canada. So the fact that he was even considered now, it's a big fuck you to the Vegas Golden Knights, if you ask me. It's just like, well, I guess if I wasn't good enough to play with Vegas Golden Knights, I'm playing for Team Canada. So it's a big like, it just makes it feel like it just makes me feel happy for him and happy for Thompson. It's two guys that people shit on and people didn't get chance to give to them to be able to play and make a name for themselves. And now it's just like, well, everybody that talks shit about them or didn't give them a chance, like I said, it's just I feel I'm so happy for them, just genuinely happy for them. And so, you know,
I hope Logan Thompson just gives Bruce Cassidy the biggest stink eye when he arrives there in Italy. Just, hey, I'm here. I know you didn't want me here, but here I am. Nice to
yeah,
see you. Nice to see you. No,
yeah.
uh,
I'm gonna be the reason why we hopefully win gold. Just I'm not gonna put those words out there, but hopefully win gold.
I know many Washington Capitals fans listening to this are Team USA fans, so they're like, "Fuck these guys," but it's no, it's all in good fun. Yeah, and then so yeah, Tom Wilson, Logan Thompson making Team Canada. A really questionable decision leaving Jakob Chychrun off of this
Chychrun,
team.
yeah.
I've got to
Like
say, I got to
not
just
even on reserve. Like,
yeah,
hello.
I've got to just throw this in here, get my little rant in, and then we'll say goodnight. But yeah, it's Jakob Chychrun not being on Team Canada. I tweeted out at the time. This was actually before I sent this tweet out before they had even released the roster, just in anticipation because I was anticipating that they were not going to pick him, just because of what I had heard. And yeah, I had like there they had kind of leaked like the reporters had leaked what they thought were going to be the eight defensemen, and they believed that Team Canada was just going to bring back the same eight defensemen that they had at the Four Nations face-off. Um, and so I had tweeted out, or retweeted, I guess is what it's called. I had retweeted out that list of the eight defensemen, and I believe my tweet said something along the lines of, I was like, how many guys on this list of eight defensemen, how many of these eight defensemen is Jakob Chychrun currently better than? It's at least five, and it's probably seven. Dead serious. It's at least five, and it's probably seven. Like the only one, obviously, that he would not be
Kale
considered
McCarr.
better than is Cale Makar. All hail Cale. But no, he's having an incredible season. He's been incredible since he got here to Washington. He had an incredible season last season, scored 20 goals as a defenseman. And I think it's something that Team Canada didn't take enough of on their back end, in my opinion, is the offensive punch. They leave Jakob Chychrun at home. They leave
Sam
Matthew.
Bennett.
No,
Like,
no, I'm talking about on defense though.
oh,
They
defense. Okay, right. Yeah.
they leave Jakob Chychrun at home. They leave Matthew Schaefer at home, which is insane.
Right.
I don't care if the kid's 18. He is unfucking believable. He should be on that team. Every time I watch this kid play, oh my God, he is so good. He could have been on Canada's World Junior team just now, by the way, for two more seasons. For two more years, he could have been on that World Junior
Could
team.
have won gold. Could have won the gold medal.
He's that, yeah. Celebrini, Macklin Celebrini could have still been on Team Canada's World Junior. So whenever anybody makes fun of Canada for losing at the World Juniors, oh, Canada's not the best anymore. Come on. Come on. No other World Junior team, no other World Junior country other than Canada has even one player playing in the National Hockey League currently who is World Junior eligible. Canada had eight, and three of those guys were Macklin Celebrini, who is third in the fucking National Hockey League in scoring. Okay. Matthew Schaefer, who's going to run away probably with the Calder Trophy unless Ryan Leonard comes in hot, even missing some time with injury. He might have something to say about that. And Seneke on Anaheim, who we just saw having an incredible season as well. Those are three of the eight. And there's a lot of other really good ones. So come on, like just let's be real here. World Juniors, it's not best on best. I know I'm getting off track here, but I just see so many people like trying to like burn Canada for like, oh my God, yeah, haha, you didn't win the World Juniors. You're not the best anymore. It's not best on best. If they had Macklin Celebrini there, if they had Matthew Schaefer there, if they had all these guys there that they could have that are that age, they have the best players. Imagine what that team would have looked like with Macklin. Macklin Celebrini could have beat Czechia on his own, probably. No offense. But no, I'm serious. Like that sounds really wild and maybe a little bit arrogant to say, but like look at the season that Celebrini's having in the NHL. And Czechia is a really good team. They really impressed me. They really
Hmm.
impressed me. Specifically, Washington Capitals prospect,
Sakura.
yeah, Peter Sakura, who was the captain of Team Czechia. He really impressed me. He had a really, really, really good tournament. Again,
Another prospect.
he had a really good tournament last year as well at the World Junior. A really impressive young player. I think he's being really underrated right now in the Washington Capitals system. You know, like when not by Capitals fans, but by people league wide, like the people who do these compile these like prospect lists and whatnot. I think he's really underrated. He looks really, really good. So again, it's not a slight to like I'm saying this half jokingly when I say Celebrini could beat Team Czechia. I'm not really being serious. I don't want to offend any Team Czechia fans. They have a really good team. They really impress me. I'm just saying, like, Macklin fucking Celebrini could have been on that World Junior team, you know? So let's be serious. Anyways, we're getting off track here because we were talking about the
Olympics.
Olympic Team Canada. Yeah. And it's just Matthew Schaefer, Jakob Chychrun. You mentioned Sam Bennett up front. Um, there's a
Yeah,
lot.
man. I don't know, man. Yeah, I would have kept Bennett. Like that's just, and he's just like Tom Wilson in the way that like he's tough, like he'll fight, but he'll also score goals. And that's what you kind of need, like to have that kind of like mix and match, right? Like we love that we have McDavid and McKinnon and Crosby, Celebrini with all the offense, but like you also need that grit. It's nice to have that grit because like I think you mentioned a long time ago, like in the Olympics, like it used to be very different where we had that grit, to come back from like a deficit and like just have that kind of like gritty kind of game. So it's really nice to have these really talented offensive players, but it's also nice to have a little bit of extra grit. And obviously, we know Tom Wilson brings it, but it'd be nice to have also a secondary grit player like Bennett, which
Well,
I feel
the
like we would have benefited from.
Well, yeah, the thing is, like, apparently they were like, "Oh, we're bringing Tom Wilson. We don't need Sam Bennett." And it's like, why can't you bring both? Why can't you bring
You
both?
bring two of McDavid and McKinnon, it's the same player.
He's the reigning Conn Smythe Trophy winner, back-to-back Stanley Cups, three straight finals, and he's one of the best players on that team. He scores clutch goals. He scored the game-tying goal for Canada against the USA in the
Yeah.
final at the Four Nations face-off. It's a mistake, in my opinion, that they left him off this team. And yeah, I had just said to you the other day, I was like, well, apparently they informed him that he's an injury replacement candidate. So I had said to you, I was like, maybe somebody will get injured and then we'll get Sam Bennett on the team. I didn't mean Tom Wilson. Come on, hockey gods. That's not what I meant. Okay. I meant like Sorelli or somebody, not Tom Wilson. Jesus.
Like, well,
Uh,
yeah, why do we have three Tampa players like in a line?
well, John Cooper's coaching. That's
Like
why.
if I see that line like we did in the Four Nations, like oh my God. He
The
play that
all
line like every I'm just like use
the
somebody else.
It's the all Tampa Bay cardio line. All they do is fucking cardio out there. They're just skating around in circles, not accomplishing anything. And John Cooper just kept throwing them over the fucking boards. Get out there, boys. Get out there again. Need some more cardio. No, it was bullshit. Um, anyhow, that's enough. I don't know how much Capitals fans really care about Team Canada. There's bound to be some. I know we have quite a few Canadian Capitals fans who listen to the show. So, and of course, we're gonna talk some Team Canada because that's where we're from. We'll probably do a full like Olympic preview where we, go into not just Team Canada but Team USA for sure, Team Sweden, lots of the other teams, and just do a full breakdown. We'll probably do that closer to the Olympics. But I just wanted to talk about Team Canada here today because of the fact that there are two Capitals players who have been picked for that team and going to be playing on that team. So sorry for all of the Team Canada talk to any American Caps fans out there, but yeah, we did want to talk about it because of the fact that Tom Wilson and Logan Thompson are going to be on that team, and because of the fact that it is bullshit that Jakob Chychrun is not on that team. So, babes, That is going to do it for this one. I think we've been yapping for long enough here. Yeah, we're recording this at night for once, like pretty late at night. So I think we'll call it a night here. I'll get this up for the morning for all of our listeners. Wanted to get it up before the Caps' next game against the Dallas Stars. So, and yeah, we took a couple week break there from the podcast over the holidays. So it's nice to be back for sure. Yeah, so babes, thank you all so much for listening. As always, it's been great to have you all here. As always, and Sunny, thank you again so much for joining. It's always a blast having you on. Anything that you want to say? Any other words that you want to share before we sign off here?
Just excited to see my Sourdif, my Protas, my Wilson, and my eventually Dubois. That's all I gotta say.
Your sort of. It's your sort of now. Big Justin Sourdif guy over here. Big Justin
I'm
Sourdif
gonna get a
guy.
Justin Sourdif t-shirt.
I'm sure you are. Uh, You'll have his jersey in no time, I'm sure.
No, I mean, yeah, but I think I'll get a Leonard jersey before I get a Sourdif jersey.
Yeah, Leonard fucking rules. All right. Well, we will call it a night then. Yeah, thank you again, everyone, for tuning in today, for listening. Drop us your comments down below. We always love to hear what you have to say. Everyone gets to be a part of the conversation here. So yeah, leave us your comments. Let us know what you think about what we said about the team. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you think we're idiots? Whatever comments you want to leave, drop them down below. We're happy to read them, no matter whether they're positive, negative, what have you. Everyone is allowed to have an opinion here. Just try to keep it classy. That's all that we ask. But yeah, anything that you want to say, drop those comments down below. And yeah, babes, if you haven't already done so, do click on that subscribe button as well. You can subscribe, like I said, if you're listening in audio only, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever it may be that you're listening. We are available across all major podcast platforms. So you can subscribe on whichever your favorite podcast platform is. And of course, if you're watching over on YouTube, the video version, you can click on that subscribe button as well, and so that you make sure that you don't miss any future podcast episodes. And over on YouTube, we do the post-game reaction videos as well, which are always really fun, a little bit more reactive than the podcast, which is more level-headed generally. So yeah, just subscribe, share us around with your family, friends, coworkers, fellow Caps fans, whoever they may be. We really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for being here. Until next time, babes, and as always, let's go Caps.
Let's go, Caps.